So when I was doing A Course in Miracles, I had a really strong hit on this topic. So I wanted to relate this story, and it's a holiday story. I have lots of stories about gifts. And so this one story is about when my girls were small, and that's when I was doing A Course in Miracles and hiding it under my couch, and no one knew I was doing it, but I was having this massive shift in orientation, and there were times where, the beauty of things would just want to bring me to tears, and I didn't know why, but I was seeing a connectivity of sorts. Not completely aware or awake of what that was, but I saw things as connected. And so the holiday times were always a time for me where I felt there was a lot of joy and connectivity, but this was a heightened experience of that because I was getting it, that there's something behind this that's so much more important and powerful. So at this particular time, the big hit of the lessons that I was getting was that I had a very poor relationship with the concept of giving. I really, really felt that it caused me to suffer. At that time in my life, I was a commercial actor, and so I was constantly on commercial sets with people who were superior at creating. So I was used to being around people who could manifest pretty quickly with all the big budgets of movies and commercials and make everything come out of thin air. So I developed this real keen eye to be able to get what would match that and what would go great there and who would want that there. And the one place that I played it out, because I wasn't the set designer myself and I wasn't the stylist, but I learned a lot and I got to play it out in my family's lives. I was the perfect person that could walk down the aisle in the store, and even before I practically got to the aisle, I'd say, perfect dress for mom, great sweater for my sister. I would know exactly what would fit them perfectly before they ever put it on. And that's just really, truly a talent that comes from people who work with that all day, every day. So I learned this, and I learned how to, stage houses and all that kind of thing in a way that really was adept and good at it. So what happened at the holiday time was that everyone in my family decided that I was the person to go to get gifts. So I bought my father's present for my mother, and my mother's present for my father, and my sister's presents from my mother and the kids. And so the holiday season started for me like sometimes in August, and sometimes it started in the heat really got turned up around Thanksgiving when I made this massive feast and everyone came to my house. Everything, of course, organic and from scratch, and they didn't even care, but I did. And so it was hit the ground running from that point on all the way to the finish line of the holidays. And everybody's presents were packed and wrapped beautifully, and it was really truly like a production. And then what started happening is that I was so good at it that I was intimidating to all the people in my life, and no one had a clue about what to get me, and they didn't have to find out how to be good shoppers themselves. I was doing everything for them. I got like dish towels or placemats. So you can see the living hell I was creating for myself, because by the time the holidays were done, I was like, I didn't get anything good, and I did all this giving, and I was in this mode with giving that was really, really dysfunctional. So as I began to do those lessons in the Course in Miracles, I started to see this whole theme of giving. And I saw that quote, to have all, give all, to all. And I will tell you that like hairs went up on the back of my neck, and I didn't like that, reading that at all. I started to realize that I had this place that I hadn't forgiven within me, and that was definitely not whole or miraculous. That started to happen to me just before Christmas time. I took my children to church, and we went to church on Sundays, and we went to a church that had a giving tree in the corner up near the altar. And on the giving tree, it had all these little stars and Christmas tree size little pieces of paper that were like ornaments, all different colors all over the tree. It was decorated. And at the end of the service, you could go up to the tree and you could pick off one of the things on the tree and be able to see the name of the person and their age and what one gift they wanted. So I went up with my daughters. We picked it was like a Christmas tree size piece of colored paper off the tree, and it had the name Melanie, and it said, "A pillow for my bed." Now think of that. Here I am rushing around getting everybody, material goods and things the whole time. And here I am being compelled by A Course in Miracles to see this differently. And I see this tree at the front, and it has a little Christmas tree ornament that says, "Melanie, age 9, a pillow for my bed." Now think of what's behind that. Someone who wants a pillow for their bed? That's incredible to me. So we took that off the tree, and then we searched the rest of the tree to see if there was anything else from Melanie, age 9. And we found one more thing. We found a sewing kit. So now you're getting an image of what this girl, Melanie, was like. So at that time, my kids, we really were big on crafts. My daughter, especially, who's the artist today. And so we wound up getting this beautiful little sewing kit, and we ourselves put all the pieces together. The thread spools had every color and needles and anything you could possibly think that would be the most special sewing kit in the world. In the craft store, looking for the sewing kit things, I was surprised when we saw something over in the corner, and it was a cloth angel. We got the cloth angel because we decided to put it on the pillow for her bed. We realized that we could get some fabric markers, and so I got gold and silver fabric markers. And when we got home, we lifted up the dress of the angel, and on her belly we put "Expect Miracles" in gold and silver writing. Beautiful. Placed her on the pillow, and we put a big, beautiful bow around the pillow, and we wrapped up the little sewing kit, and then we went like the 3 kings to the church, my little daughters and myself, and we brought these gifts and brought them to the church to be able to be given. The best thing about that experience is that it was anonymous. It wasn't until that moment that I realized the power of giving anonymously. Because up until that point, I had been giving, and I didn't make this connection. I had been giving with a condition. Did my mother like what I got from my father? Was that approvable? And I was performing. I had no idea that I was performing. But I was performing, and so, at the end, I fell flat on my face, and I danced so hard on the stage for everybody that, I was too exhausted to even appreciate it, and it was always a flop for me personally when it came to, what do I get? So there was no getting. There was no ulterior motive. It was giving our utmost for the highest. That experience made me turn a corner. It truly made me turn a corner. The material part of it was beside the point. For the next years, I thought of this girl, Melanie, and I thought, what's going to happen with Melanie as she grows up and has that pillow and has that angel and expects miracles? I don't have to know. That's the nature of the miracle. You are the miracle, you give the miracle, and then it goes out beyond our experience.